Steam Next Fest has just wrapped and there were so many great game demos available to play. I showcased 7 different demos on my Instagram page, but there was one specific game that really caught my eye. I'm Liam and welcome to another episode of the Indie Game Review, a series where I find a new indie game on Steam, play it for a couple of hours and then give my opinion on it and whether I think you will enjoy it. If you enjoy this video, give it a like and watch another video. I have a couple linked in the description of every episode, or you can click up here to watch. And make sure to comment any indie game you would like me to review below. And like I said at the beginning, if you like short form gaming clips, make sure to check out my Instagram page. I post there daily with gaming clips, news and showcasing, so you can get all the gaming information you need in one place. But enough shameless plugging. As Steam Next Fest has been going on the last week, I've been enjoying as many demos as I can. I've played some really cool, interesting games like Demon Tides, Deliver at All Costs and Post Trauma, but the game that's impressed me the most is definitely Ruffy and the Riverside. Ruffy and the Riverside is an open world and level based platformer created by the development team Socrates Labs and published by Pfeiffer Games. See, now is usually the part where I'll cover the tech and settings of the game, but the settings are actually quite bare bones like all the classic platformers, and the game is made in Unity, which we talk about in pretty much every review at this point. But let's talk about the actual game and the gameplay. In the game you play as Ruffy. I'm not actually sure exactly what Ruffy is, but for some reason he kind of reminds me of the Sam Squanch from Trailer Park Boys, so I'm gonna guess he's some kind of Sasquatch, but whatever he is, I fucking love this fella. The game starts with Ruffy and his boys Pip and Sir Edler cascading down a waterfall. It's panic stations, and if we don't get off this thing, it's going to be Sasquatch soup. Luckily though, this is where we learn the key mechanic of the game, the swap mechanic. What the swap mechanic does is, it gives you the ability to copy any texture within the game and paste it somewhere else to help you traverse the map, defeat mobs, or so forth. So in this beginning sequence, you use the swap mechanic to turn the waterfall into vines, so you can climb up to safety. Or not. But all's well that ends well, and once Pip has saved Ruffy, the intro begins, and that instantly told me this game was going to be a good one. See, I don't think that anybody could possibly hear this music that's playing in the background and think, yeah, this is shite. It's an absolute bop to the point where it's kind of been stuck in my head all week since playing it, and it fits the theme and aesthetic of the game perfectly. And let's talk about that. Aesthetically, the game is really pleasing to my eye. It's got that look of Paper Mario about it, which is really comfortable and relaxing. The press kit for the game states that all the textures, UI, and characters are completely hand-drawn, with Ruffy alone having over 600 drawings used. That is no small feat, and the labor of love put into the game is really apparent. Each area of the game feels alive, and it honestly feels like a classic. But we all know that if a game has a great look to it, it means nothing if the soundtrack is honking. And thankfully, Ruffy and the Riverside has an actual belter of a soundtrack. The few songs available in the demo fit the vibe of the game perfectly, but I've got to give the main track its flowers. It's a fucking bop, man. And listen, I know I've only played the demo and it sounds like I'm absolutely creaming over it, but trust me when I say, if you load this game up, you will feel like it's 2003 all over again, and you sat in your bedroom after school playing on a CRT TV. And let's talk about the actual gameplay for a minute. Now, the demo doesn't actually give away much lore to the game. So far, we know that Ruffy lives in the town of Riverside and must collect stars from around the map as well as in single levels. Apart from that, I couldn't see what else could be going on, apart from a very daunting looking Rubik's Cube thing at the end. Maybe there was more hints scattered around the map, but chances are that I was too busy fawning over the look and sounds that I completely missed them. I did briefly cover the swap mechanic earlier in the video, and it's definitely a key selling point in the game. You have to use the swap mechanic all the time to progress in the world and in levels. You have to turn steel to wood, water to lava, and loads more combinations within the game. It's a really unique approach, and I was actually shocked that you can pretty much copy every texture within the game. The game is predominantly in 3D, but there are cool, like OG Mario Bros-esque 2D parts in the game. The demo only showcases one 2D level though, but there were some just out of the playable area, so I know the game will include more. In the demo, you can explore a good chunk of Riverside as well as 3 individual levels. I think it was a good enough showcase of what the game has to offer without giving too much away. The first 2 levels are short and non-linear. Each level has stars scattered around either in places or in puzzles, and you just run around until you find them. And the demo levels are definitely a tad on the easier side, but that's fine with me. It's nice to play a game and just vibe and have fun without it being a challenge. But I'm sure in traditional platformer style, there are probably a good few difficult levels in the full game. The third level is a bit different from the other 2 though, as this level introduces a new kind of gameplay, a Tony Hawk style style level where Ruffy rides a hay bale up and down a half pipe while doing some next level tricks. This was great fun at first, but definitely got a little bit tedious as I think each trick length only has 2 tricks. So hopefully in the full game they build on this and include some new tricks, and the trailer shows some racing footage which looks great fun and I cannot wait to try. The demo clocked in at 35 minutes for me, and honestly it flew by. That 35 minutes has so much content and feels so alive that I happily could have played on. And Steam Deck users can also rejoice as the demo runs an absolute treat on the deck, playing at a lovely 60 FPS, and as the game is optimized for controller gameplay, it's a match made in heaven. So, overall thoughts. The Ruffy and the Riverside demo is 100% the most fun I've had during this series. The game is just end-to-end fun and happiness. It's actually to the point where I actively had to search for flaws because in all honesty, I just couldn't really find any. I had to be really nitpicky with this game, looking at every mechanic to see if I could find anything bad. And honestly, the only things I could find was the hay bale tricks to be a little bit one note and the very odd bit of traversal issues. But if you've played any platformer ever, you know there's always little traversal issues. It's honestly the most fun I've had on a game this year so far, and it's only a 35-minute demo, so I cannot wait to see what the full game brings. So for that and all the other things mentioned in the video, I'm going to give Ruffy and the Riverside the Indie Game Review's first ever 9 out of 10. The game is honestly mint. I could barely find any flaws in it, and if you enjoy being happy, then I'd 1000% recommend giving it a go. It looks great, sounds great, and is great fun to play, so there really is no downside. The game doesn't actually have an official price or release date yet, which hurts my soul as I'm desperate to keep playing. So give it a go and let me know what you think of Ruffy and the Riverside in the comments below. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to be notified for the next episode of the Indie Game Review.